Evava sighed, stretching luxuriously before rising to her feet. The air shifted. I blinked up at her, dazed, breathless. She watched me with quiet amusement, then reached for the first button of her blouse well. She murmured, slipping the fabric from her shoulders, a shown, knowing smile curving her lips. I suppose I shouldn't just sit and watch. Before we go any further, please take a quick second to hit like and subscribe. It's quick, free, and helps more than you know. Thank you now. Let's get started. If I don't feel a real man's hands on me soon, I might actually lose my mind. The words came out before I could stop them, too raw, too desperate. But after 3 years of frustration, 2 glasses of wine, and exactly 0 thrilling nights, I wasn't interested in pretending anymore. Eva choked on her drink, then laughed. Damn that bad, I groaned, shifting in my seat. Worse, my ex was, let's just say, not exactly exciting. And now I thought being single would be fun. Turns out it's just a lot of bad dates and even worse options. Eva smirked. So what's stopping you from just picking someone? I let out a bitter laugh. Oh, sure, let me just grab the nearest available guy and hope he's worth it. The truth was, I didn't want just anyone. I wanted to feel wanted again. Eva studied me for a second, then exhaled through her nose like she'd just made up her mind about something. You know, I think I have a solution. I narrowed my eyes. If you're about to suggest some app full of creeps, I swear, nope, she cut in smoothly. Then with a slow sip of wine and a smirk that sent a shiver down my spine, she said it, you should borrow my husband's silence. I blinked, convinced. I misheard. I'm sorry, what she shrugged. Completely unfazed, you heard me. I stared at Eva, waiting for her to laugh. Smirk anything to tell me this was a joke, but she just sipped her wine, as if what she just said wasn't completely insane. You heard me, she said again, her voice calm, casual. I let out a nervous laugh. You can't be serious. Why not? Because that's your husband, Eva. She shrugged and I blinked, and do I really have to explain why that's insane? Eva leaned in, eyes glinting with amusement. I think you're trying a little too hard to sound. Shocked, you weren't exactly offended by the idea. You were just surprised. Obviously, I'm surprised my voice was higher than I intended. Who says something like that? A good friend? She smirked, one who actually cares about your suffering. I groaned, pressing a hand to my forehead. You make it sound like I'm some tragic case. You said it yourself. You're miserable. Eva tilted her head, studying me like she already knew the ending to this conversation, and you deserve better. I swallowed, even if I was crazy enough to consider this, which I'm not. What about him? Does he even know you're saying this? Evava's smirk widened. Oh, honey, do you really think I make offers like this without checking first? A strange heat curled in my stomach. Wait, you mean H? She took another slow sip of wine like she was savoring my reaction. I told him earlier he didn't exactly complain. A pulse of something electric ran through me. I didn't know what I was expecting, but the idea that her husband was already on board. Oh my God. I breathed. Eva grinned. Told you he's an incredible man, and trust me. He knows how to take care of a woman. I'd never offer you anything less than the best. My mouth went dry. She set down her glass and leaned in her voice, dropping to something softer, smoother. So tell me the truth. If you weren't overthinking it, if you just let yourself feel what you want, would you say yes? I should have laughed, should have changed. The subject should have said no, but I didn't because deep down I already knew the answer. Eva must have seen it in my face because she exhaled satisfied thought. So I forced myself to breathe. This is insane, maybe, but doesn't it sound exciting? I didn't respond. Couldn't Eva watched me closely, her finger hovering over her phone last chance. Tell me to stop, and I will silence. I parted my lips, ready to say something, anything, but nothing came out. Eva smirked, then tapped the screen. A single message. Come now sent a quiet ping. She met my gaze and smiled. He's on his way. It didn't take long for him to arrive. A knock at the door. A slow exhale from Eva. My pulse hammered. She stood smoothing, her dress. Nervous. I swallowed. Nodded. She smiled like she expected that. Then she opened the door, and there he was, tall, confident, unshaven, by what was about to happen. Eva smirked. "You're early." Her husband stepped inside, eyes already on me, not in a rushed way, not in an obvious way, but in a way that told me he knew you're even prettier than she said. My stomach flipped. Eva laughed, looping an arm around his, told you a slow, deliberate once-over. Nothing overt, nothing obvious, but I felt it. So this is her. This is her. Eva confirmed, his lips curved slightly. Not a smirk, not a smile, just approval. Eva turned to me, extending a hand. "Shall we?" My breath caught. This was it, the last moment to walk away. The last moment to pretend I hadn't already made up my mind. I didn't take it. I didn't have to, because before I could even decide, he reached for my other hand. And just like that, we went together. The moment the door shut behind us, his hands were on me. There was no hesitation, no slow buildup, no uncertainty, just raw heat. His mouth captured mine, instantly deep and unrelenting, sending a rush of sensation through me. It was electric, breath-stealing, intoxicating. I melted into him, my body pressing against his as his hands roamed my back, firm, claiming, deliberate. Eva's soft laugh echoed behind me. "Now that's better," she murmured, voice rich with amusement. Then her hands glided over my shoulders, a delicate contrast to his firm grip. A shiver ran through me. I barely had time to react before she reached for the straps of my dress, slipping them down inch by inch, the warmth of his breath against my skin, the slow, teasing pressure of Eva's touch. I was completely surrounded, completely lost in it, and I didn't want it to stop. The dress pool around my waist, and Eva exhaled softly, her voice a silky thread against my ear. "You're stunning like this," she whispered. His lips moved along my collarbone, deliberate, steady, still nervous. Eva murmured. I didn't answer. I couldn't not. When his hand settled on my waist, confident, guiding me backward, I sank onto the mattress, breath, uneven, pulse hammering. He followed, moving with unshaven assurance, his presence filling every part of my awareness. Eva sighed, stepping away. I barely registered it. Not until I heard the soft rustle of fabric as she settled onto the couch nearby. "Go on, baby," she purged, voice smooth, teasing, let her feel what I already know. A deep sound rumbled in his chest. Then his touch drifted lower, trailing heat in its wake. My breath caught a wave of sensation rolled through me, my body responding instinctively. His hands held me steady, firm yet measured, guiding me deeper into the moment. Eva hummed in approval. "Oh, sweetheart," she murmured, her fingers tracing along my arm, feather light, but electric. "You should see yourself right now." Heat flushed through me. I should have been thinking I wasn't. I was completely lost in it, his touch, his presence, the way. Eva's voice sent a fresh thrill through me. Eva leaned forward slightly, her fingertips ghosting over my skin in slow, lazy circles. She whispered. "I told you he was good." I barely heard her. I couldn't focus on anything but the slow, spiraling pleasure unraveling me. Eva sighed, stretching luxuriously before rising to her feet. The air shifted. I blinked up at her, dazed, breathless. She watched me with quiet amusement, then reached for the first button of her blouse. "Well," she murmured, slipping the fabric from her shoulders, a slow, knowing smile, curving her lips. "I suppose it's time I joined the fun." Eva's blouse slid from her shoulders, the fabric gliding down in a slow, deliberate motion. She moved toward me, her steps unhurried, her presence undeniable. My breath came fast, unsteady, my pulse hammering beneath my skin. Her fingers found my arms, a feather-light trace from my shoulders down to my wrists, sending a new kind of thrill through me. "She's ready." Eva murmured, her voice, a slow, knowing promise. Her husband exhaled deeply, his hands settling against my waist. Steady and sure, the moment stretched thick with unspoken understanding. I barely registered the way my fingers curled into him, needing something to hold on to. Then everything shifted. A wave of sensation rolled through me, stealing the air from my lungs. Eva's breath warmed my ear, her voice soft but insistent. "That's it," she whispered. "Let it happen." His hands guided me, leading me deeper into the moment, slow and unrelenting. I felt completely taken, surrounded, Ava's fingertips tracing over my arm, his presence pressing in, anchoring me in something I could no longer resist. The intensity built too fast, every motion sending warmth spiraling through me. Eva's lips brushed against my jaw, her touch firm, deliberate. "Breathe, sweetheart." She purged feel every second of it. I shuddered beneath them, my body tightening, coiling, the pressure rising higher, sharper. Every movement was fluid, controlled, pushing me closer to the edge of something inevitable. Eva's mouth traced over my collarbone, her touch heightening every sensation. "You're stunning like this," she murmured. I barely heard her. I was too lost in it. The warmth, the pull, the steady rhythm driving me forward. I chased it, instinctively caught in the moment, completely overtaken. Ivava's lips hovered at my ear, her voice teasing, breathless. "Let go." I gasped, trembled, and then her fingers squeezed, mine, grounding me as I shattered. The moment hit in waves, deep, endless, overwhelming. A soft sound escaped me, the release unraveling every last ounce of control. His hold tightened, drawing out the last of it. Deep and consuming, Eva's hands remained on mine, steadying me as I spiraled down from the peak. "That's it," she murmured, pressing a lingering kiss to my temple. Everything collapsed into warmth, into breathless stillness. The aftershocks lingered, pulsing softly through me. I sank into the feeling weightless, completely unraveled. Eva sighed a lazy, satisfied sound, her fingers still tangled with mine. The silence stretched heavy, warm, thick with the remnants of everything that had just unfolded. Her nails skimmed across my skin, a slow, teasing afterthought. "A soft chuckle told you we'd take care of you." I couldn't move, couldn't even form a thought. I just breathed fully undone, completely taken. Most people would say no to an offer like this. But let's be real, it's not that simple. Would you take the risk, or is this a disaster waiting to happen? Let's debate in the comments. I want to hear every take, and if you love this story, don't just leave, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More stories like this are dropping soon and you don't want to miss out.